Today we're talking all about summer fragrances. I put together a basically like capsule wardrobe of fragrances perfect for summer that I feel like will work for every occasion, that are high quality, they can be mixed and matched. And I've been wanting to do a summer video for a while, but to be honest, I've been struggling with how I wanted to do it. There are always so many summer releases and really fruity things coming out, lots of fun fragrances, and I'm always excited to smell those. I'm always really hopeful I'll love them, but I am very picky when it comes to fruity things. Just the tiniest thing can be off for me and it won't be a fragrance that I'm gonna love. So I wanted all of these picks to be things I truly want to wear, will wear, am wearing in the summer. And once I started picking, it all happened to be niche, so I thought this would be a nice niche guide if you were wanting to spend a little bit more on a fragrance. All of these to me are super quality and I feel like kind of unique, and they have these small things that really I think elevate them, and that's why they made it into my summer edit. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with the fruitiest of the bunch because I feel like when I think of summer, all those like fruity tropical vacations you might go on or might not, it might just be a fantasy, I'm drawn to the idea of wearing those scents, and these fruity fragrances deliver on something that is fun but also I think a little elevated. So first we're starting off with Narcotica Narco Oasis. This was a pickup last year and I just think this is such a beautiful fruity scent. This is pretty prominent with passion fruit, but there are other fruity notes in here as well. There's also a big scoop, I feel like, of vanilla in the base of this that I think rounds everything out, which then to me gives this fruitiness just something a little bit softer around the edges. I can just get a little overwhelmed when the fruit in fragrances is like overly cloying, overly sweet, overly like tangy or zingy or just juicy, like too juicy. I know some people want that and sometimes it is fun, but when I'm really thinking of what I'm wearing, I'm reaching for, I'm getting use out of, this is the way I want the fruit to be done. This has notes of passion fruit, blood orange, and blackcurrant in the top. There's vanilla, peach, pear, brown sugar, tonka, jasmine, and iris in the mid, and then vanilla musk, sandalwood, amber, and blonde woods in the base. I love the mix of woods in here. I started off my entire fragrance journey really liking unisex scents and woody scents, and then I found vanilla, and I love vanillas and gourmands. But like I've been saying, fruity can be hard, and I feel like when it has that vanilla, the amber, the woods in the base, I do tend to gravitate more toward those fruity fragrances, and this one's just beautiful. I think it works for any occasion, something casual if you wanted to. I feel like it still has this like, I don't know, expensive feel to it, so you can be fruity and flirty and delicious while still I feel like smelling expensive. So I love this one. This is a pricey bottle, but I love it. I love it so much. If your number one is to get a fruity fragrance that smells expensive, I really think you should check out Narco Oasis. But that's not the only Narcotica on the list. I had to put Limonata in the capsule. This is the newest fragrance from the house, and when I saw notes of this, I was really hopeful I would love it, and when I smelled it finally, I was like, it's exactly what I want. I gotta get it. Another absolutely fruity fragrance. This one has mango in it. It also boasts notes of fig as well as grapefruit. There is some red berries in here too that I think add some sweetness, but really I feel like the mango is probably the most prominent. But where Narco Oasis is kind of sweet, creamy, vanillic, even a little powdery and kind of soft, this is more on the refreshing side. There's something about this that kind of smells like the sea breeze. It's almost aromatic, and it kind of combines this fruity juiciness with a freshness that I think cuts it in a way that, again, I really enjoy and I think elevates it. For a full list of notes, there's red currant, grapefruit, ginger, pink pepper in the top. There's mango, marine notes, fig, ambroxan, and elemi in the mid. And then in the base, there's amber, moss, musk, and cedarwood. There's almost like a masculine touch to this, but again, I feel like the fruitiness of this kind of like cuts through that. It's just beautiful, unique, fun, kind of grounded. I feel like both of these can give you that kind of cocktail fruity vibe, but again, don't make me say it. They're elevated, and I love that. A newer fruity fragrance to my collection is from Jusbox. This is Carioca Heart. I got this from Twisted Lily. I do have a code with Twisted Lily. They do all niche perfumes over there. You can sample things through there, and I'm pretty sure most of the fragrances I'm gonna be talking are over there if you ever wanna sample anything. You can use my code LMB10 to save some money. That is affiliated, but I finally decided to add Carioca Heart to the collection this year. It came out last year, and I just needed some time with it, to be honest. Another beautiful fruity fragrance, but again, it has those woody notes in here here that really ground it. There's pineapple and mango in here. I feel like I pick up on the pineapple just a little bit more. Like I get almost like, in a good way, a canned pineapple. A good way, okay? But there's still some mango. There's also lemon in the top. In the mid, we have some rum. So again, getting that like fruity cocktail feel from this. There's sandalwood and peony in the mid, and then vanilla, ambroxan, and labdanum in the base. You definitely need to like ambroxan in this one, and also limonata. I do feel like if you are a fan of ambroxan, then these would be good choices for you. But if you don't like that note in fragrances, maybe they won't be the ones, but that is a note that I like in my unisex fragrances and just in general. So I think that's what makes these fruity fragrances stand out for me. This is sweet and juicy, but again, I feel like that fruit kind of takes a step back. Like it is no doubt juicy, but I just feel like the other notes really come in and complement everything and mix it up in a way that it doesn't feel like cheap, it doesn't feel cloying, and it just has a beautiful wear as well. Like I like how this kind of fades on my skin because I'm left with more of that ambroxan, the vanilla, and even some of that sandalwood to me. So definitely another great fruity scent to try out. And really these three to me are those fruity, tropical, juicy drink fragrances that I actually want to wear, that I actually think are worth the money personally, you know what I mean? They don't have like a fruity sunscreen vibe to them. They don't have too many like florals taking over. I just think they're absolutely beautiful. I do have a couple other fruity ones on here, but these are a little less tropical in the exact same way, or I wear them a little bit differently. Next, I want to talk about the Chronic Rouge Extreme from Byron Parfums. This is probably the fruitiest on this list, and this has a raspberry note in here. There's also a melon note, and I would say it does kind of smell red. Like I get a red kind of fruitiness, and comparatively to the other fruity fragrances I mentioned, this one to me really is in full force. Like the fruitiness is at the forefront. It's definitely a little more concentrated, a little bit more juicy, but still refined enough for me to like. And I do find this to be a little bit more flirty because it's a little bit more like saturated in flavor and scent. It has some patchouli even in the base, the muskiness in here. I do find this to be something good for like nighttime or going out. It's definitely like a fruity kind of sexy fragrance. That's the place it's taking on my list anyway, just because it's a little bit deeper to me. It also has just some stronger notes in it. So raspberry, whipped cream, melon, and pear in the top, amber, spicy notes, and cinnamon in the mid, and sandalwood, white musk, and patchouli in the base. I will say as this wears, that musk does come out a little bit. I probably pick up that the most in here, so it can get a little powdery, maybe slightly scratchy, but I feel like everything about it just kind of works for a little bit of a bolder moment. Okay, for my capsule, I could not put in Sunset Hour from Goldfield and Banks. This one to me is another just fruity, flirty moment. It's giving bachelorette party. That's what I always think of. It's a very sweet, sweet raspberry in here, but there's also some ginger in here that I think does balance it out. It adds a bit of spiciness, so another kind of fruity cocktail one, but not as tropical since it's more on the raspberry side of things. And I would say this is as fruity as I go. I've talked about this as a good introductory to like niche fragrances. If you're coming from like designer or just other kind of fragrance houses, this to me is the elevated version of something at Bath & Body Works. It's a very easy wear. It's very likable. It's very sweet. It's very fruity. This one does not have the fruitiness in the background absolutely at all. Notes on this: desert peach, raspberry, cashmere wood, mandarin orange, sandalwood, pink pepper, jasmine sambac, ginger, and benzoin. Just a fun and nostalgic one. I definitely had my time with this a few summers ago. You can see that dent in the bottle, but why I also put this on is because I think it layers perfect with this next one, which I've talked about in a combo, but also with this idea of like a capsule fragrance wardrobe for summer, like the summer edit of that. I love the idea that some of these fragrances could kind of mix and match with each other. Since they are all tailored to my personal style, I feel like a lot of these could layer really well with each other, and you could kind of have those tweaking moments depending on the temperature, the occasion, how you're feeling, what you want to smell like, all of that. So my perfect layering fragrance with Sunset Hour is MFK's Kurky. This is also raspberry, but done so different. As much as this definitely has a sweetness to it, there's also this just musky cleanness, almost going into like a soapy territory that comes with this fragrance. So very clean. It's great for high heat. I will wear this on its own, but I can't lie, this combination's just so perfect because Sunset Hour can be a lot and this can be a lot, but together they kind of balance each other in this perfect way. And it's so fun to be able to find fragrances that really complement each other and can kind of tinker with each other's notes to create something perfect for for yourself and like kind of bespoke and custom. Anyway, full list of notes on this: raspberry and peach, so very similar fruity notes. There's also gummy candies and just other fruity notes in here, and then white musk and vanilla. I think this is one to check out. I think it was a great release, and it really does last on my skin as well. There's something about the muskiness that really can carry through on the breeze, clings to my clothes, and when it's really hot, this is definitely refreshing. I think the closest thing I could compare this to is Smile from Acro. If you've tried that one, that's also a kind of raspberry note, but it's done in almost like a gin and tonic kind of way, so it's a little more aromatic. This has a little more sweetness, but it's done through kind of that same lifted, fizzy tonic kind of lens. So that's Kurky. Definitely wanted to put this on here. And that's really the extent of the fruitiness I feel like on here. I have a few others, but I more categorize them as like milky creamy. We'll get into it. The other kind of love that I have though is a woody note and something kind of unisex, and I feel like for high heat these work really well if I'm not wanting to smell like a cocktail. Getting into some of those more woody fragrances, we're gonna start with a longtime love. This is Juliet Has a Gun, Sunny Side Up. If you've been here, you know I was obsessed with this. I still really love this scent, and when I want something that's coconutty and woody, this is probably one of the better coconuts that fit me nowadays. I have another one here if I really want to go milky, but I just love the way that this smells. It's musky, it's a little bit more on the drier side of sandalwood, but also kind of has something creamy going on. It kind of just depends on how you look at it, how you want to smell it. This has ISO-E Super as a note in the base, and that is this like woody, musky, molecular, ambery kind of note, and I just love that. I'm a sucker for it. It gives it some lift, it gives it some great longevity, even if I do go a little anosmic to it, and I just think it's a great alternative to a summer scent that still has that coconut, but isn't, again, that like super thick, sunscreeny, really like, you know, the scents that come out for summer. I think they're fun, but they're kind of their own category at this point, where it's like a fruit plus coconut plus creamy white florals, maybe some vanilla, and that's your fragrance. This is my version of that fragrance that feels a little more streamlined. It kind of cuts through some of the kind of powdery floral notes I don't love, and it's so good. This has notes of vanilla absolute, amorous, and jasmine in the top, sandalwood, coconut milk, orris root, and jasmine in the mid, ISO-E Super and ambrette or muskmallow in the base. I also do love pairing this with baccarat, so that's a really good combo, just throwing it out there. Another kind of woody scent, and kind of similar actually to the Juliet Has a Gun. I don't think they're too repetitive, but Radio Bombay is a woody scent that smells almost like dry. Like I'm talking pencil shavings, like it is very woody in that way, so you're gonna have to like that. Really not a lot of sweetness, but again, I feel like this gives you that tropical vibe if that's what you're after, without being overly fruity and syrupy and sweet, you know? Like it still gives like a freshness, great for high heat, and I feel like the magic of this really happens on the skin. On me, it starts off a little powdery, again, kind of that sharp pencil shaving woodiness, but I do find that it kind of softens up. It almost turns into like, is it powdery or is it creamy? Like it kind of goes into that, and it kind of sweetens up just a little bit as well. Although again, it is not like sweet. I do not want to like confuse you, because it's not. If you could smell a piece of wood and be like, damn, that smells good, I would definitely give Radio Bombay a try. DS and Durga just has some really great fragrances, and this also has some great lasting power. It's also a great layering moment if you wanted to tone down maybe some of your fruity fragrances, and this has some like matching woody notes in the base of that one. It could be a good combo. Anyway, full list of notes. There's woody notes, cedar in the top, sandalwood, iris, peach, and boronia in the mid, then sandalwood, coconut, ambergris, ambrette, balsam fir, and musk in the base. When you hear that coconut note, know it's like the husk of the coconut, okay? It's like a very dry coconut. There's nothing too milky or anything like that going on. Just a really great niche scent that I'm so excited to wear for summer. I haven't had it for summer yet, and I feel like it's perfect for it. Leaving it off in this kind of like unisex territory, this is a Tat Livre d'Orange Sous le Pont. I love this fragrance so much, you guys know. This is woody, a little salty. There's a little bit of vanilla in the base, which gives it a roundness. It is so fresh. This to me is my go-to if I want something a little more serious. I don't want to be too fruity and fun. Oh, this to me is just so good. I think it's so refreshing. It's absolutely perfect for high heat. Like if I don't even want to be weighed down with the cloyingness of any fragrance, there's something about this one where I can still smell really great, really put together, just incredible without having to worry about the heat. It has great projection, great longevity. I just love it. It's a little aromatic. It just hits everything perfectly for me. There is something kind of watery and marine-like in this as well. So if you really like the freshness that comes from Limonata and you want to tone down and like get rid of all the fruitiness, I feel like that's what Sous le Pont is. I would definitely check this fragrance out if you love Limonata and want something less fruity. But let me give you a full list of notes. Fig leaf, pink pepper, bergamot, elemi in the top, C-Nose ozonic notes, violet and olibanum in the mid, and then sandalwood, musk, orchinox, cedar, and vanilla in the base. So good, you guys. This to me gives like the crispness, the freshness of like a white linen button-down shirt that's open, that's blowing through the breeze while you walk on the pier or you walk by the ocean or by the marina, anything like that. So good. I have 3 fragrances left to talk about. This next one, I just have a smaller travel size, and I really didn't dig too deep into my travel sizes for this video. There are a few honorable mentions I will talk about at the end that I think would fit in here, but I wanted to pick those bottles that I already have that I could get more use out of, things that have come into my collection that I really cherish and I think would be good picks. I'd want to repurchase them. Anyway, that being said, this is ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman, and this has been one of those fragrances that I just keep coming back to. This is another really nice fresh one for high heat. There's a strong ginger note in here though. I predominantly get like a citrusy ginger note with some sweetness, but not too much. Again, very lifted, very translucent. It's very fresh feeling, and this could also be kind of like a cocktail, but not overly fruity, more like a gin and tonic with a lot of ginger. I'm telling you, the ginger is pretty prominent in here, but in such a good way. Sometimes I cannot be the biggest fan, but I think it works really well in here. Full list of notes: pear, bergamot, mandarin orange, and ginger in the top, orange blossom and Georgie wood in the mid, and then musk, ambro fix, akagala wood, and cedar in the base. You guys know I love a woody base, and I feel like this to me is like a twist on something like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. It's not exactly like that at all, but I just think this is kind of the version I want to be wearing. I don't know, there's almost something kind of fizzy in here too though. So anyway, I definitely wanted to put this on here to use more and potentially get the full bottle if I go through this. I'm super grateful I got this in one of my advent calendars last year. For my last 2 fragrances, I did want to put something kind of creamy and vanillic and just, you know, a little more decadent in here, not only fresh stuff or only fruity. And Queening just really fits a perfect summer vanilla for me. This is a newer one, but it is stealing my heart. There's a freshness to this vanilla that I think just makes it work well for high heat while still giving me that kind of creamy vanilla I crave, you know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of a running theme where I need some like fresh notes, musky notes, something to kind of like balance out either something super sweet, super fruity, too kind of juicy or syrupy, and this kind of just does it all in one. The notes on this are pretty interesting, not what I would really expect from what I'm smelling, so I think this is a great one to sample and see if you'd like it, even if the notes seem a little bit off to you, because this has cotton flower, apple, and cypress in the top, orris root, rum, and saffron in the mid, and then vanilla, coconut, and musk in the base. I don't know how they combined all that to get this, but it smells amazing. I really, really love this. A perfect summer vanilla for me. And last, I put kind of a decadent, fun one, a little bit of a throwback for me as well. This is Comptoir Pacifique's Coco Figue, and if you're looking for something super sweet, super creamy, lactonic, like pretty decadent, like it almost smells like cocoa cream that you'd put in a pina colada, but just that part, that's this fragrance. It's very showery and watery. It smells like someone's freshly washed hair, but again, in the most creamy cocoa and like fig scent. The fig in here is definitely that milky kind of fig. And as with a lot of Comptoir Pacifique stuff, it just kind of stays in that sweet zone to me. Even if it says there's like woody notes in this and that, like it just stays kind of like sweet, creamy, that's it. It's kind of linear. And I just thought this rounded out the capsule really well, because sometimes I do want something creamy and just fun for summer, but this is kind of my version of that. And this is a scent that back in the day, before I even got as into perfume as I am now, I loved this scent, okay? I was a coconut fiend back in the day. That's all I wanted. Loved all the coconut. But again, as I've been on my journey, I feel like a lot of times coconut is paired with so many florals that I don't enjoy as much, and this really just gives you the cream, and then I feel like I can kind of pair it with whatever I want. Like, I can't wait to try this combo out. I think it's gonna work great with any of these woody fragrances, but I also want to try layering it with some of the fruity fragrances and getting something even a little more milky. Let me get you notes so you can really get the full idea of what is happening in this fragrance, okay? Coconut, fig, vanilla flower in the top, coconut milk, wheat, and sugar in the mid, and then coconut milk, fig leaf, and vanilla in the base, okay? So much coconut, so much vanilla. Just think something creamy, lactonic. Yeah, I wanted to bust this one back out for summer, and I felt like it really kind of balanced the tray itself, because when I was picking out this like niche luxury, just like if I only had these fragrances for summer, I could do anything I wanted and mix and match and all of that. I thought this would be a fun one, a little bit different on the tray. Since I've been talking about the combos and like the capsule wardrobe of it all, I thought I would share some of the combos I'm excited to try and just different ways I would pair these 12 fragrances with each other. I'm excited to pair Blue Talisman with Sunset Hour because they both have that ginger note in them and they both give me cocktail vibes, but this is definitely giving more like gin and tonic, soda water, and this is like a fruity cocktail. So I think they'd balance each other out really nicely. Like I mentioned, I do want to put Coco Figue with some of my more woody fragrances that also have some coconut in them, but aren't as prominent. And for those days when I'm really wanting to amp it up, I think this will layer great. I also though love the idea of putting Coco Figue with Narco Oasis because this is a more creamy, fruity fragrance. It has that vanilla in the base, and it kind of gives like passion fruit vanilla ice cream. And I think this could be like a dollop of coconut whipped cream on top. So if I want to go a little more milky creamy with it even, I think this might be a very decadent combo. Another combo, the Carioca Heart with Radio Bombay. This one has some like woodier notes in it, and this is all woods. So I'm excited to see how they play together and how the fruit kind of comes out or doesn't. So that one I'm definitely trying. For days when I want to sweeten up Sous Pont, I think queening might be something great. There's something aromatic about this. I just think it would work well. So I want to try that combo for sure. But I'm telling you, the possibilities feel kind of endless just because it is such a personal collection of fragrances, and there are a lot of repeating notes within these fragrances that I think create the ability to mix and match a little bit more. But last one here, I don't know how this would go because these are both kind of powerhouses in their own way, but I do kind of want to try Limonata with that kind of fruity freshness with Sous Pont as well and see if they kind of complement each other or drown each other out, like what happens here. But there's something intriguing about this combo as well. That's my summer edit. I'd love to know what fragrances you love on here. Have you tried any of these? And of course, if you have any recommendations, other summer fragrances you think would work perfectly in here, I'd love to know. Especially, I might have a little sample here. I might have to try some more combos out. I realized though I did want to have an honorable mention list, so let me just get that out of the way really fast. I know I was wrapping it up, but we're not done yet. I don't have a full bottle of Virgin Island water from Creed, but I do think that's a beautiful summer lime and the coconut fragrance. I think it's really, really good. It has a rum note in it as well. So again, we're kind of going to those tropical cocktails, but it's done in a way that's not overly cloying to me. And again, that's something I'm really looking for with fragrances. I also think Virgin Island water is a really good example of something that feels so vacation-y and can kind of transport you into summertime, into vacation time, off the clock, you know, just hanging out by the beach, all of that. But I don't feel like it's a caricature of it. And I do feel like sometimes when things are overly sweet, overly juicy, overly fruity, those scents can definitely get you to vacation and be so fun. But I find for my personal self, what I'm actually wearing, I don't like those as much long-term, or they can again be kind of like cloying in the wear. Like I want to wear them for a second, but not actually long-term. But Virgin Island water, I feel like is just pulled back enough for me that it really works. The other honorable mention for perfume is Pacific Rock Flower from Goldfield and Bank. This one I've only been able to sample a few times, like sprayed it in store, but I really fell in love with it. And I've definitely added that bottle to my wish list at the moment. But this has notes of sea salt, lemon, eucalyptus tea, peony, mimosa, tuberose, there's sandalwood, cedar, patchouli, moss. Given the notes, I wasn't sure if I was gonna love this, but there's something about that fragrance that I don't feel like smells quite like what I'm seeing here. It just is its own thing. I think it's a really nice one for summer. Check that one out and see how you like it. And last honorable mention to leave it off, I actually have a candle here. This one is from the new Savant, and it is their late checkout scent, which is golden mango, sticky rice, coconut milk, lemongrass, and ylang ylang. And I think this smells so great. Very fruity, very mango, but still kind of delicate. And like I said, that's what I'm into, as I've been saying this whole video. But there's something about this that's just a little more delicate that works for my sensibilities while still being very fun, very much transporting me to summer vibes and vacation. So I thought I would shout out that candle because it definitely fits into my edit, but more for my home and how it smells when I want to do something summery. That is, of course, when I'm taking a break from my gourmands and vanillas. But I'm gonna actually leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, leave me any of your summertime recommendations. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.